For the amazing guy, engineer, producer, ADR director, and occasional voice actor on the side. We'll go into the details more. Please get out Mr. Justin Cook.
What's happening, you guys? Thanks so much for being here today. And it feels good in this room, right?
Yeah.
I need this.
Somebody goodbye.
Do I need this? You can hear me, right? I'm all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. What's going on? Are you guys, are you all from town here? Do you all come in from other places?
Yeah.
From town.
All right. Where are you from?
4 hours away.
4 hours away. Who's the farthest away?
Kinda.
You're the farthest away?
I'm from Claremont.
That's pretty far. All right. Did you fly here?
I wish.
I'm from Winter Garden, so we're neighbors.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. You guys are blowing my mind here. I'm kind of like, my heart.
Same here.
Do you have any, I don't know what to start off by saying. I've been doing this for a little while, I can say that. But I definitely can answer any question that anybody has. I love it. You're going to kick us off for us.
Can we be friends?
We're friends. We're all friends right here and now.
This con made me get over 12 friends, including this person.
Hey, all right. I'm gaining. My friends are gaining too.
Forget.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't you voice someone in Yu Yu Hakusho?
I do voice somebody in Yu Yu Hakusho. I voice Yusuke. And who? Huh? As Yusuke, I have to. That's why it's an acting thing because I'm never serious, and so they have to they're like, all right, be serious for 3 seconds. You ready? Say your line, and then I'm serious, and then I go nuts. That's kind of how it works. So they contain me, put me in a small box, and record me.
Can you say that your personality is combined to Kirishima from My Hero?
Like Justin's personality?
Yeah, both of you. Are you guys
Yeah, we share a lot in common. So I love telling these kinds of stories. So actually, there's a lot of similarities between the cast and the characters they play in My Hero Academia. As an example, everybody knows who Momo is, right?
Yeah.
And Momo bosses everybody around all the time, right? She's kind of that personality, right? So Colleen Klinkenbeard, who is the voice actress for Momo, is also the voice director of My Hero Academia. So in reality, she's constantly telling us what to do. So it's perfect, right? But with me and Kirishima, I like to think that my heart is as big as what I imagine Kirishima's to be, because he just really seems to he just seems to be very understanding and accepting, really, of everybody. And so ironically, actually, him and Yusuke, I think, really kind of share some of those elements together. And also, Kirishima really looks out for his friends, which is kind of also Yusuke's kind of defining trait, aside from that. Yes.
What was your favorite anime?
That's a tough question for me because I steal a joke from a comedian who was asked what was his favorite episode of a TV show he had worked on, and he said asking which one's my favorite is a lot like asking what's your favorite breath. It's the one that gets you to the next one. So for me, it's hard to say which one's my favorite anime, but I do have those that I return to and watch probably more often than others. And Cowboy Bebop, kind of at the top of that list. Yeah. I love the music. I'm a huge music.
Did you ever work on Cowboy Bebop? Because I don't think I saw that, but I know that you're a fan of it.
I'm a huge fan of it. I'm so much of a fan of it that when Funimation picked up Cowboy Bebop to re-release on Blu-ray for the first time, they asked me to make a documentary about its dub. And so there's a great Rolling Stones song called Memo from Turner, so I made a little I love Cowboy Bebop piece called Memo from Bebop. And the idea behind that is that so many of the Bebop titles used different rock songs like Bohemian Rhapsody, Sympathy for the Devil. There may have been a few others. So anyway, I kind of try to slip into the same thing there. But yeah, I'm a huge fan. If you want to see 90 minutes of me being a huge fan, watch that. So there you go. All right. Oh, Deku.
What's your opinion on Bakugo?
My opinion on Bakugo.
Yeah.
So a couple of y'all have come through my line over here, so you've heard a little bit of this story already. We'll get there. What's this bug in front? I'm playing the role of Pigpen from Peanuts today. Okay, so my opinion on Bakugo. So I've got a best friend. His name's Jerry Jewell. He's also a voice actor. Matter of fact, he is the voice of the principal in My Hero Academia. And so Jerry and I have been friends since high school. So that's a long time ago. Just trust me. And anyway, so he's kind of always been the individual that I have to kind of explain to the world. Do any of you have friends like that?
Yeah.
Well, what they mean is, and then you say like what they mean, because their heart's really good, but sometimes they don't always, it doesn't come out as good as what you know their intentions are. And so I kind of feel like, certainly from Kirishima's point of view, like Jerry is my Bakugo. But in regards to shipping, and this is his answer, and I'm totally ripping him off here, but no, Jerry's answer to any shipping question is there's no free shipping. But to take it seriously, I've been going back and watching My Hero Academia with like the thing in mind of who would Kirishima genuinely have a crush on, and I haven't decided who that person is just yet. Oh, is that it? I'll tell you what's weird. This is what weirds me out about Bakugo. The guy runs around with two big like holders of sweat. That's weird. Anyway, I couldn't imagine what Bakugo if he got off a plane in Orlando. He would just explode. He'd just get off the plane and go, I made it to Florida! Bam! Yes, sir.
Out of the roles you've done, and which would you want your normal job to be? Spirit detective, pirate, pro hero?
I don't know, I tell you what, like the idea of going back to high school scares the living all of it out of me.
Especially with powers.
Yeah, the powers part's okay. It's just going back to that age. I don't want to do that. Man, I don't know. Spirit detective seems kind of fun. Awfully dangerous. So, I don't know. I have no idea. That's weird. Let's see, what would I do? Being in the Soma family, that could be fun. And dramatic. Yeah, I think so. I will go with Spirit Detective. Sounds adventurous.
Helene would still be in charge of you.
Who?
Helene.
I know. Yeah. Wait, so she's who?
Aikido.
Oh, in Fruits Basket. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I'm going to Yu Yu Hakusho. Yes. Are you both going to ask the questions simultaneously? I'm kidding. Go ahead. Go first.
If you could live in any anime, which one would you live in?
Well, that's kind of in the same vein here as this one. Like he was asking, like of all the professions of characters I played, which one would I want to do? But I don't know. I kind of like this realm. I don't want to go to, like, there's some crazy stuff that happens in these anime. I don't know. Yeah, but Bebop would be fun to hang out on that. I can't sit now.
No,
I'm so sorry.
I'll let you know the 5 minute mark.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you. I'm just got this much energy. This, fall over it, get one of these. All right. Which is fun to do walking down the hallway at Funimation. I often make people kind of smile when I just walk by and they're like, Monday. You want to punch me? Yes, your question.
I know I already asked the question, but on a scale of 1 to 10, how much best boy would you rate Kirishima?
How would I rate you? He's an 11.
No, 100.
100. I'll take that.
And then Minetta's best girl.
Fair. Minetta's best girl.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
So all of the voices that you do are super unique in their own right, but have you ever accidentally, when you're trying to record for a certain voice, used the wrong voice?
Yeah, for sure. Colleen on My Hero often is like, make it deeper, because if I go too high, it's just Yusuke. So, like lower, so I get trimmed on that one quite a bit. But yeah, no, I mean, like, you don't accidentally go into Boo's voice, that's a fact.
No, that's not you do that on purpose, and that's what makes everyone happy.
Right. So no, my voice is just kind of this one, and so Yusuke and Kirishima are probably the closest to my natural voice, so I probably live in their world a little bit. Yes, sir.
What was the first major voice acting gig you ever got?
Yusuke. Yeah, it was wild. So I was picked to be the voice director on it, and that was the second show I had done voice directing on as a series. I did a little bit of fill-in work for Sabat on Dragon Ball Z. My first thing to direct ever at Funimation was, you would see Lord Slug, reaching way back into Dragon Ball. The character Lord Slug, who was voiced by Bryce Armstrong beautifully, that was my first time to voice direct. And I tell you, if you are going to voice direct the first time, Bryce is the guy to do it with. That guy. I could just listen to him read he could just read the directions, stereo instructions. I'd be fine to listen to it. Golden tones. Yusuke. Uh-huh.
There's something about his personality and his sass. His witty one-liners are amazing. And I was just wondering how, because I feel like it's so fairly similar to their but I just want to know how you're able to like bring out this very different.
Yeah, so I really fell in love with that show. Unhealthy, probably. So I watched the whole thing like in a weekend. That's how it was that I figured out Blue Ogre, or Jorge, or George, was the narrator of the whole thing. So I'm glad I watched, because it turns out that was important. But Yusuke was the hardest one to figure out who the voice was. I heard Kurama's voice, I knew the actor. Kuwabara, I knew the actor. Hiei, Chuck. There's nobody else in the world who can do Hiei, right? That's just the way that goes. So even looking ahead in the series, like with Linda as Genkai, even Damian Clark as Tagoro, that was one of those decisions that like we came to kind of right at the beginning of it. But Damian was also being heavily considered for Yusuke, as it turns out. And so I just couldn't, I was like, wow, do I take the perfect voice for Tagoro? Because I mean, I know Damian could do Yusuke as well. So we wrestled around with that, and it was the producer at Funimation at the time who actually pulled me and stuck me in the booth and said, why don't you audition? And then that ultimately disqualified me from casting, go figure. And so I threw my hat into the ring, and I guess it was a day later, Barry came up to me and said I'd get the role, and I had to be all at work. I was like, oh, thanks, appreciate that. I'm gonna go home for the day. Thanks, really appreciate it. Get home. Woo! I ran around the block 3 times, so I was so excited to play it. So, as soon as we started reporting on the show, it was Jared Hedges, the script adapter, who provided all of those brilliant little one-liners and whatnot. So, as an actor, I got the easiest part of that job. I got to read a great line, something like, oh, you should stop talking. Makes you look stupid. You know, I mean, little lines like that. I was like, I get to say that, and no one's gonna punch me in the face. Well, in the animated face they will. But so it's just brilliant to get to say fun stuff like that. So it's all Jared. It was 100% him. And at that particular time, which was the early 2000s, we did, kind of, I guess, take certain liberties in the dub with the show, but I agree with you. We really did try to tell the story as what the story was. It was so beautiful. We really didn't feel like there was anything that needed to be changed or augmented or anything like that. So Yu Yu Hakusho, Kitty Grade, Fruits Basket were probably the first 3 shows where Funimation started finding their own kind of space in what would ultimately become kind of the new way of creating anime dubs. Any Aliens fans here? The movie franchise Alien? You remember was it Wayland Uotani's motto, building better worlds?
Yeah.
I've always joked at Funimation, our job is building the better dub. So, it's always been
True.
my thing. Yes, sir.
Would you really be a cadet in Attack on Titan?
Would I really be a who?
A cadet.
A cadet? Would I be a cadet? Man, that'd be a tough world to live in. You want to talk about living in a weird anime world. Attack on Titanland? No, yeah, I don't know if I'd be a cadet. I don't know. Maybe. I'd like to think I'm that brave. But in reality, I would prefer just to play the voice of a cadet. I've been eaten already in Titan, so I was a cadet once. Yeah, I filled somebody up. Yes, ma'am. That's okay.
But I wanted to say that, thank you for playing, like, my 2 favorite characters, like, ever, Kirishima and Hanzo. And I grew up with Fruits Basket, and I'm still growing up, technically, so, I mean, I'm still growing up.
Yeah, and now I get to come back and get to do it all over again.
Yeah, and now I have Kirishima with me, too, and I just want to say thank you. you.
Oh, you're so welcome. Look, thank you guys. This is a symbiont circle. Without you guys, I don't work. You know what I mean? Like, and so like being here is totally the most incredible refueling station one could possibly imagine. So I can't wait to get back to Monday and just let's get back to making awesome anime.
Woo.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
In the orange, yes sir.
What was your favorite moment when playing Hiroshima in My Hero Academia?
So far I've had a couple. The being in disguise scene with everybody.
Yeah, I
And
just
you guys
watched
got
that.
to watch did you see the little behind the scenes thing that Colleen
Yes.
put together, watching us all record? Yeah, so that was a lot of fun, both seeing it from just watching the finished animation, but then also getting to see everybody have fun. Because that's the whole thing. I don't get to hang out with all those other actors. I only have the voice director to lean on when I'm recording the scene. So, to be able to like act alongside Tatum and Briner and Colleen in that particular scene. I don't remember who else. There's someone else in it. Anyway, but if I was in a room with them, that would be, first, a lot of fun, and we'd get nothing done. But that was a lot of fun. But then, I think right now in the franchise, my favorite little scene or moment from Hiroshima is when he turns around and pulls the suits out of the suitcase for Bakugo and himself, and Bakugo's like, "Why?"
I saw that movie a few days ago. It was great.
Did it? So I love that little moment. But at the same time, I kind of enjoyed voicing the little meatwad version of Hiroshima. That was fun. Someone actually created some of those. It was in Chicago a couple of weeks back at ASIN, and the girl had a Bakugo meatball and a Hiroshima meatball. That she had fashioned out of it was like a plushy type material. So anyway, those are probably my three favorite little moments in the show so far. But you had a question, right? Yes, I think.
Yes. Okay, so I kind of touched on this a little bit with Jason earlier.
Yeah.
But since you also do producing and you probably have more knowledge on this aspect of the industry, I really wanted to ask. It was about Show by Rock.
Oh yeah.
I love Show by Rock.
I love Show by Rock too. Strawberry guitar.
You were a great guitarist, great talking.
Sorry.
And Grateful King.
Grateful King, that was it.
Grateful King. So I wanted to know, because there are shows like Show by Rock and say like Love Live and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That
musicals.
Normally their music never gets dubbed into English.
Right.
So I think Show by Rock is the first time I ever saw this happen.
But it's not the first time it's ever happened. Any
Really?
fans of Beck Mongolian Shop Squad in the room?
You're right. But I wanted to know, how did you guys pull that off? Because there's another show like Love Live called Lieutenant Prince Sama that I really
Zombieland Saga just
right.
was
I really think you would do really well here in the West if you did the same thing that you guys did with Show by Rock, but doing with the great. How did you guys pull off doing the show?
Well, I'm hearing you say pull it off. It makes it sound like we did something incredible, and we did. It's all based off of the licensor, right? So in anime, the way this works is companies like Funimation, they go shopping 4 times a year. So first, let's back up a little bit. What's a season? Everybody knows a TV season in America starts in September and ends in May, right? And then in the last 10 years, the summer season of those 13 shows of 13 episodes or so will happen. In Japan, there are 4 TV seasons each year. Yeah, efficiency. They're really good at it. So they break it out into 4 13-week blocks. And if those of you who are super great at math know that's 52 weeks, and that's all the year can hold. So literally every week there is new anime coming out in Japan. It's kind of incredible. So 4 times a year, right? We go shopping. Okay, what we're doing is we're looking for what will be, hopefully, the next Dragon Ball Z, the next My Hero Academia, whatever the show is. So we're going over there and we're looking to see what's coming out, what's based off of manga, what's based off of light novel. We've got teams of people that are reading through it all and kind of saying, this is a good one, this is a great one, that kind of a thing. And so we'll go through and pick up between 18 and 20 shows every season to dub as part of Funimation's Simuldub initiative. So that's how that works. And then each one of those properties are owned by what's called a licensor. So like as an example, My Hero Academia is owned by a company called Toho. That's the company that distributes it to the world. And so they make a deal with Funimation to distribute that title in whatever territory Funimation has paid for, right? How well the licensor works with us in regards to, and their own musicians, right? So a show like Love Live, they don't want us to dub those songs, so we don't dub. And in a show like Show by Rock, they didn't say anything one way or the other. But when we made the request and asked for the instrumental tracks, basically we're asking for karaoke of all of those songs. They'll sometimes supply them, and sometimes they don't have them to supply. So the catch for us is getting those instrumental versions of the songs. Days like Beck, Mongolian Chop Squad, where we actually hired musicians to recreate each one of those songs, is very pricey, as you could possibly imagine, and so we don't have the time usually to be able to do that. So we're looking for those instrumental tracks. So it really just depends on the licensor. But I can tell you the
basically give you guys permission to yes or not.
You got it, and then from there we're launching forward. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Love the crowd.
Yeah. Is there an anime that you worked on that you love but didn't get as much recognition as you think it should have?
Well, based off of no one cheering when I said Beck Mongolian Chop Squad. Yes. No, here's the beauty of anime, is that there's so much of it. And what I love may not be what you love. It may not be what you love, but it's what somebody loves, apparently. And so that's the beauty of it. We all get to kind of pick our own thing. Honestly, television has become a lot that way. I thought when things would start moving more towards streaming, we would see maybe less of new programming and that kind of thing. But my goodness, I just watched Chernobyl like 2 nights ago, and that thing's breaking my brain. So there are some great television shows, there's great anime, and yeah, it's hard for me to say. I don't know, sometimes it's like when you discover a band, right, and then everybody else discovers it. That kind of like a bummer, right? So it's kind of nice to have your own private little thing. So no, it doesn't bother me all too much. I like having my own club. Yes, ma'am.
I wasn't sure if you knew, but how would you say how hard is it, or how long does it take to change like a normal sub to a dub?
About 20 hours. I'm kidding. It takes about 2.5 days to compose an English script, an adaptation, and then it does actually take about 20 hours to record the voice actors on any 23-minute episode. Half-hour episodes break out to about 23 minutes of actual footage. And then it takes about an afternoon, 4 hours or so, to run a mix on that. And then there'll be probably 2 half-hour reviews in there, so about 2 weeks. So when you're seeing an episode pop up in 2 weeks, when it airs in Japan, 2 weeks later it's up on Funimation.com as a simuldub, that we're utilizing every minute of that 2 weeks. But there you go. Way in the back.
Hi, I just want to say first, I really appreciate all your work you've done with My Hero Academia.
I appreciate you watching it.
And I wanted to ask, what is your opinion on Kirishima's chosen hero costume and hairstyle?
Well, first, I love that everything has a name. I think that's manly awesome. And but I don't understand the whole face thing. But other than that, I think it's a cool costume. If I had a upper torso like him, I would. But I don't, so I wear 2 shirts. Yes, ma'am.
Have you or will you ever want to cosplay any of the characters that you played as?
I have not cosplayed as one of the characters that I have. No, I haven't. But I don't know. I don't think I'd be a very good. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. I've got no good answer to this one. I'm trying to be funny. I got no. Oh, in the very back. Well, they couldn't have paired him up against somebody any more difficult to fight. Kirishima, not the most strategic guy in the world. But it was interesting to get to see the limit of his power. But that was a fun fight with Tetsu. Like, those are jerk parents to name his kid like, hey, your last name's Tetsu. Guess what your first name's gonna be? Anyway, that's a good fight, but I think, and I know that some of you who read the manga know that in season 4, we're probably going to see what might be some of my favorite.
Oh yes.
Oh no.
Oh my God.
Don't spoil anything. Yes, sir.
Yes. What was your most fun moment playing Yu Yu Hakusho through music? Like, do you remember any nice?
Oh, I remember all the moments. I'm trying to remember a fun one.
What's one of your favorites?
Well, I can tell you my hands were very sore after the Toguro fight, because I do a lot of. I've learned that there's a way you can hold your hand and not break it. Hit something a little hard.
Right.
And so yeah, I was throwing punches left and right during that fight. That was I was hitting there are padded walls in the booth, so I'm just.
Do you remember there was an episode that I loved, and you were so funny. You guys were like in a cave, and you guys were playing this video game character.
Yeah, Game Master.
Yes.
Episode like 84 or 85.
And you were just like roasting the Kurama because he was like had the little like fans and putting him over. It's like, oh Kurama, so like your seats there, huh? And like I died. For,
Oh right, for the little lamp lights to light the way.
I reminded that so many times to laugh. Like, I love that.
We have a mix engineer at Funimation that I don't know why this picture was taken, but it's absolutely hilarious. It's him, and he's kind of it was like very long red hair. Always has it, and he's hugging a tree. And every like inside my head, I'm like, oh, that's Kurama. Like that's the personification, and he has red hair. So anyway, so yeah, I do remember that scene. I don't remember recording the line, but I do know that Yusuke had a lot of those, and that was what you were talking
That's
about.
when I
All
became a
these,
fan, man. I'm like, I guess including something.
he's got these great little lines, and again, it's just the brilliance of the writers. It's such a, it's great because I get to be the one who like goes, yeah, I thought of that. I didn't think of that. I don't think that well or fast. Yes, ma'am.
What inspired you to be a voice actor?
Well, nothing inspired me to be a voice actor, but this inspired me to be an actor. As soon as I said something and somebody laughed, I was like, ooh, I like that. Do that more. And then someone laughed again, and I was like, ah, you know. So, yeah, that's the problem with actors. We depend almost 110% upon the adulations from others to tell us we're worth it. And no, yeah, as soon as somebody laughed, hearing that kind of thing, like the idea of being able to bring joy to people, blew me away. My parents owned a home video store. You remember back a long time ago, they used to have these tapes, right? And they would rent them to people for a period of days or whatever. Anyway, I worked at one of these little stores, and I was probably 12 when I started working for my parents at that Showbiz, Movies to Go. And I just started at A, and then just without discrimination watched every movie that we had in the store, and then went to the next store and one of the other stores. So I just consumed movies like it was candy, or I don't know, probably something healthier. But anyway, I love it. I just took it so much, and all of the characters in these movies, whether they were dramas, whether they were horror movies, whether it was a comedy, I fell like viscerally in love with all just this medium of storytelling, and the idea that it could fill me with, you know, I don't know, a feeling. It's that thing you guys finish up an episode of whatever is your favorite thing, and it's like it makes you feel good, or you are wondering what that person is or character is thinking, or how they're coping with something after the episode is ended, or whatever. Those thoughts, that's really probably what really pushed me to try out. So it pushed me so that I could get over the nervous part of auditioning, which is nerve-wracking.
Mm-hmm.
So please tell me I'm good enough.
No.
Yes, ma'am.
Could you maybe explain what was the thought process in choosing Kuwabara's iconic voice?
It sounds stupid. Honestly, I gotta give this one to Chris. That was Sabbath. That was just Sabbath coming in and throwing this voice out. And because honestly, with his look, I couldn't help but think Kaneki from Grease. I don't know if any of you are Grease fans, but I was like, it's Kaneki with red hair. It's like a Danny Bonaducci version or something. But he came in and laid down the audition track, which quite frankly sounds very, very similar to the final voice that we landed on. But yeah, that was from the imagination of Christopher Robin Sabat. His genius at work. With purple hair and then green hair next.
Did you play Leon Kawada in the
Swing for the fences!
well, did you play Leon Kawada in Danganronpa the animation?
Yes, I did. Had a great time playing that. That was a short. I feel like that was that was the teaser for Kirishima, perhaps, right? With the hairdo. Yeah, no, Chris Bevins put that cast together, and Chris and I have worked together for a very long time, and he asked if I would come in and do Leon's voice, and I absolutely was like, yes, I would love to do it. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Sabat was cast in that as a somewhat similar looking character to Kuwabara as well. So I think Chris was having a little fun. Yes, sir.
Have you ever watched like any other anime voiceover dub and just think, oh dear God, I could have done this way better? And whoever did that.
That is a thought that I have decided not to ever have. I don't. I'm not a reviewer, you know? I mean, the work that people do are the work that people do. I've had opportunities to redub some shows. Escaflowne comes to mind. And so that was a thrill. But to be quite honest with you, on my personal anime collection, I have 2 versions of I just said the name of the darn thing, Escaflowne, on my own personal rig, and I've got the original dub still because that's what I saw forever. And I've got the new one, and I love the new one. I think it's great, but the Full Metal falls into this kind of thing too. Brotherhood doesn't land as strong for me, but I think that's because my heart was so involved with the first series. And Hughes is one of my favorite characters of all time, and he didn't get as much airtime, as it were. So I mean, for me, and honestly, I think this is the way it is for a lot of people. It's kind of what you see first, you know, and then that just kind of ends up being what you love. There's a Todoroki in the very back. I think Todoroki's hand is out. How's it, Deborah?
How high for you before?
I didn't hear you.
How high for you before?
How high are you pursuing?
Oh! Very!
Yes.
Colleen has told me, she goes, don't cheat, don't read ahead. I want you to see this stuff for the first time when you're recording it with me, because I want to catch that.
Excitement.
What was that?
Excitement?
Yeah, the excitement, or just catch my emotional reaction to it, so that we can capture that live. So I actually haven't seen it. I don't know what's coming. I've been told, get ready. So I'll either be really disappointed.
That trailer was like.
I know, that kind of.
Ooh.
Yeah, they just took the sun.
Yes.
Yukina.
All my friends have basically decided that you guys are the definitive English voice of Yusuke, Kurama, Kuwabara. But however, there is one piece of media that you guys do not own, and I'm wondering, will you guys
Poltergeist report! We'd love to. We continue to try to acquire it, and as soon as we acquire it, I would love to put my voice on it. So I'm still Funimation. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna hang around until Poltergeist report comes out, and I'm out the door. Yes, ma'am.
I hope I'm not spoiling anything for anyone, but what was your reaction during like one of the battles where Kurama turned into this big giant guy? I forgot his name.
Yoko Kurama.
Yes, that. What was your reaction? Not Yusuke, but yours.
My reaction when watching it, like right before I was gonna start recording, and I was watching it all kind of